Hello everyone and welcome back to Murph's Models. Today I'm going to be doing Meta from the Pixar movie Cars.
It's gonna be fun.
I love Meta and I had the joy of seeing him live in the flesh last year when I went to Disneyland in California, specifically to Disney's California Adventure, where Radiator Springs Races is a fab ride. So hold on to your hats and tires and let's get started on Meta. So from studying this lovely design of Meta for ages and ages, I decided to draw out a simple design with slightly forced perspective as a side-on view. And then I started cutting out lots of different full-size profiles of him and thought I need something to attach this to. So looking through all of my packaging, Colgate Triple Action Original Mint Flavored Toothpaste. And if we turn that into a box, it's perfect as a chassis for Meta by popping all these sections, popping that at the front. I did a lovely long video of how I did all this, but golly gosh, it took forever. And I got slightly bored. So I think I'm just going to show you a very quick snapshot of how I got to this stage, and then we'll carry on and I'll show you the more interesting bits. Now we're going to tackle the headlights for Meta.
Oh, I really love that Radiator Springs Races ride. Anyway, I got this cardboard tube, which is just the right diameter.
So it will sit there and on the other side as well. So there's a sort of a square shape on top of these headlights.
I think I'll sort that by
using some skewers and gluing them on the top section. If I put some elastic band like that, put a bit of card around here, and we can actually square that off and get a reasonably successful square top. I've already pre-rolled some cardboard
to make it more easy to place.
So a bit of glue along the edge.
Some glue all the way through here.
And then wrap your cardboard around the tube.
Wrap it around to keep it nice and tight. So the next thing we're going to do is to do this inside curve. For that, I need Sculpey, my favorite. And I'm going to put a wooden bead onto a spike like that.
And now I shall poke it into some Sculpey, bake it. And I've cut off the edges, and I've also sanded the edges, and now I'm going to make a light casing for the lamp that's broken.
Bit of glue in here.
Then wrap it around the lamp and cut out a piece that goes on the front of the headlight and glue that over the light casing. Now that the light casing is dry, let's put it into the headlight, and look at that, a lovely snug fit. Very nice.
From all these buttons, I need to find one that is going to sit inside. Aha! This is the one. This button is going to go inside here, but first I'm going to put some white polymer on the top of here. That will then have this little sheet of dimpled plastic to represent a light in the headlight for Meta. Oh yes, mince pie. Cookie! Of these plastic holders for the mince pies, which have these kind of retro 70s looking headlight lenses. That's what I'm going to do. Retro lenses, delicioso. Okay, so this section here, the front of the headlight, I am going to put a border around here of cardboard just to delineate where that edge is.
And now that it's dry, let's trim the edge.
Now I'm going to push this button in here. Okay, so I'm just going to fill this bit in here with a bit more of the Sculpey.
And now this side is all cool and ready to go.
Now all we need to do is slip in these two side sections.
And the second one, and now we'll glue them both in. Okay, now let's send this off to dry.
Now it's time to build out all this section inside Mater. So the front of the radiator and all the other bits on here. So we're creating this ledge. All we need to do is start building a bridge for this section here. And I have already tried and tested a stencil for that very purpose. Put a center line in there. There we go. So we've got one there. Another one in here. I want to put a little bit of a curve on this edge, so I'm going to put an extra piece of cardboard that will create a bit of a curve just where I need it. First of all, I get a bit of cardboard that's the right length and I shove it down here so that we have a base. Glue that in. We are going to put a top over the top of this bit. What we need is a bit of white paper. I've already cut a little slot that sits into the back, and now I can start to mark up where it is going to be cut. And now I need to fold it down so that should give me
The edge that I need, put it on a piece of cardboard,
and draw it out. There we go. So next up we need a plate to go on top of that. 2 bits of corrugated card, put a little bit of glue in the middle between the two. And then this bit will sit in there, like that.
So this fruit juice top is perfect for Mater's radiator. So it's time for a spot of glue and a disc of punched out card. And this red bit popped on top. Now for the dip at the front of the radiator.
And here, like that, like that. Like that, like that.
Okay, now I need to put a bit of glue all over this here. And after that, we'll put on this layer here. I've cut this piece of cardboard to fit exactly that area. And now I'm going to sculpt his big, jaunty smile. I've flattened out some Sculpey and I'm going to mold it into the shape.
And once the bumper's done, he's ready to bake.
I broke that off so that I could get access to do the teeth. Here's the top. Guffaw. I put in these other 2 teeth. So that sits there. These teeth sit on top. I did the bottom teeth and a little bit of a tongue as well. I think that's good for there.
I've actually marked out where the black felt is going to sit behind the mouth that I've just sculpted. Bit of glue. And as you can see, I've had to cut away the front so that the face sits flat when this felt piece is put in place like that. Time for some glue on the upper lip.
Sit that in there like that.
And the lower mouth sits up in here.
Stick that down with that masking tape. So those 2 edges are stuck.
And now a good blob of glue all over.
So now we're going to do the cabin at the top here, on top of Mater. And
I'm just going to draw and cut out the 2 side sections.
here's the front, and I've put 2 layers of corrugated card and then a piece in the middle to give us the curve, and the white plastic will sit on top of that. All I need is this milk carton, and I'm going to place that on there like that. And the good thing about this is it's already got a bit of a curve on it, which is just what I'm after. So these guys here sit on the side like that. And now all we need is to put something on the top like this. Already bent this so it's curved, because that's on a bit of a curve as well. So now there. I think that's looking pretty good.
Let it dry, let it dry, let it dry.
First up, I'm going to cut out the frame of the side door window.
I've already marked one up here actually. It's a 3-ply card.
1, 2, 3 card thicknesses glued together by me. So let's cut it out. And glue it on. And while we're at it, why don't we glue on the cabin as well?
Now it's time to glue these sections onto the side. Just need to dabble some glue on all of those edges, and hopefully, as I've already taped up that edge,
It will line up pretty good.
just lay in a slither of glue, a slithering bit of slithery glue. We're going to do the doors for Nemeta. Now, all I'm going to do is put a thickness of card in the shape of the door. I've already done one of those. I've done a shape that sits with the model.
So let's draw that out on a medium thickness of card. Not thin card, not thick card, medium card.
And I've already tried out the graphics for Meta as well. Goodness knows how I'm going to do that. Push down heavy on the pencil as you do those lines, because that will then make it easier for you to crease the paper. So in theory, there we go, it kind of folds. It follows that pencil line because I did, as I said, I pushed the pencil in quite heavily. What I do is I get a thin bit of dowel, and I just use that to roll the cardboard and get a nice roundness going on, and hopefully that will sit. Oh, it does. Miracle of miracles. So it's just a matter of helping the cardboard, helping it, encouraging it to go over the curve. Okay, so we'll get a bit of PVA. Done 2 lines either side to try and keep the glue within that area. We're going to glue down the top bit first. Here we go. Pop that on there. Push that down. Make sure it stays down.
This one. Push that down. That looks pretty good actually. Good.
I want to do the lights on top of Meta's roof. And you may remember these from not so long ago. At last, I think I've found a reason for saving all of these nasty little tubelets. That. If I cut that off at there, that like that will be the light. Cool.
Now, how to do eyes.
It's using buttons. He has green eyes, of course. Probably about this size of button would be good.
And I managed to find a few of these little black buttons in my little bits box, which will be perfect for his pupils.
So I've just glued on the upper lid and the lower lids of Meta's eyes. At the bottom there, I've glued just on the edges, and I've left enough room that I can put his eyes in and just push them.
With a bit of tape on the back.
These eyes can be adjusted to where they might look the best. Now I just need to put something on the side struts, and I've already got my piece of card for that. All I need is a little bit of glue. What I'm going to do is just push it up into that top edge there, down on there. Yeah, a little bit more glue later, but that's pretty good. Now we're going to do the back section of Meta.
Good one, Luigi! So, I'm going to draw out 4 of these back sections and then cut them out. Once we've done that, I'm going to glue them together, but at an angle like this, so that if I get some cotton wool and stuff a bit of wool into the side of that panel, it'll give it a bit of a curve, which I think will just add a little bit of character to the back section. Let's have a look. Nice, I like it. Right, now we need to cover the wheel arch with a return, bit of glue around the edge, and then cut off the excess.
Put a bit of glue on that edge. So there we go. I think I found an errant bit of masking tape. Thank you. Off. There we go. It's still here. What? Get off. Even now it's on there. It's persistent, that bit of masking tape.
Anyways, now it's time to make a bit of a trim on the wheel arches. So I've got a 3-ply of card here, and I'm cutting out a trim shape. Then I'm going to put a bit of glue on the back, glue it on. I think I'll need a bit of masking tape, yes, to tape it up, and a bit of glue around the edge.
Now we're going to do the petrol cap. I'm going to use this, the top of this, as the cap. And I'm just going to score this edge so that it folds in a nice straight line, hopefully. I might need to get a pair of tweezers in there and just get some of that cotton wool out. Out you come. Out you come. That, and then that petrol cap I'm going to cut off. Keep going. Nice. Now I have to find it. It'll be somewhere, but probably miles away from where I look. Oh, and that could be handy for something too one day. And that, so I'll keep those in my bits box. A bit of glue in the back. Put it on a pair of tweezers here to push it into the back. And hopefully this will just sit there and dry. I might just check that the top will still sit in there. Yes. Now it's time to build the box for the back section of Mater. So I need to line up these edge bits here. There we go. So that is now sitting as the side. And it's looking reasonably square.
So I'll slide in this floor section and glue it to the rest of the back of the truck. And now it's time to build the wheel protectors that sit either side.
This bit slides in like that rather nicely, which means I can work on this separate to Mater himself. First up, let's get the
2 sidebars
and glue them into the edge like that. I've also done a bar across the back here, which holds the whole thing together.
So some glue on either side of the top bar.
Sit that on there. Now there's these crossbars which will sit in like that.
This up to the crossbar, and then it's on to the next project.
So to make this thing here, I just got some of this lovely coarse card, rolled it up on the side. I used some of this much thinner card, rolled around, wrapped around lots of times. Got that on there. Now I'm going to glue this onto here. That one there. So it's time to glue this into the back of Mater. Sit it like that.
Now it's time to make some cogs and wheels.
Put this on top. And then glue this onto either side. That on there. Put this under here. And this bit on top. And then this bit will sit in there.
And the cable's going to come in through here, and all I need now is a hook. Ask and ye shall receive. What was that? Anyway, flatten a little bit of Sculpey.
Pop that on top. I'm just going to cut it out like this.
And my leather punch comes in handy to punch a hole in the hook. And now I'm going to use a straw for the arm of the crane.
With this, boing,
That slides.
into the center. I've got these little bits on either side. So now we need to make sure that that is just above here. And now that should lay down like that. And for some reason, that's what the arm for the crane on Mater looks like.
All I need to do now is put the pulley wheel on top of the crane arm and pop it into the stand that I've made from a little bit of Sculpey and a bottle top lid.
Now it's time to start on the wheels.
With some wise words from Hudson.
Tires to win a race.
And here's where you get those good tires, Hudson. All you need is a button.
I found this is a good size. And what I'm going to do is get a strip of card and I am going to glue it around this button. Get a bit of masking tape. I'm going to use an elastic band. I'll use one of my other buttons just to sit that so it sits nice and flat. A run of glue around here, kind of seal the two layers of cardboard together.
Okay, so The front hubs, they curve out, and the back hubs curve in.
I have a box full of bits and bobs, lots of bits and pieces. From here, I think these domes might do the trick. I have prepared paper with cut folds that I can glue inside and outside on top to help me do some paper mache. Paper mache, that means I need some wallpaper adhesive and a little bit of water.
Mix them together and voila!
I'm going to do a layer of clear glue. I'm going to push one of these like that. And I'm going to make it nice and flat. Now I can check if it is by looking on the other side. I need to get rid of some of the glue from there. I'm going to put another one in. Pop that in like that. Use up lots of your wallpaper adhesive on this and let it soak through. I love doing paper mache work. It's lovely, soothing, even when there's a siren in the background. Oh, it's gone. It's a lovely process doing your paper mache. Oh, there goes the siren again. Yeah, I want to be soothed, not sirenated. This is my fourth layer of newspaper. Now I'm going to do a second tissue with a bit more wallpaper adhesive. So when it comes out, these two sections are nice and dry. Go all the way around and release the outside first. Now pull. Oh, good. Oh, there we go. Oh, and that's nice and shiny inside. I want to do a circle around here. What I'm going to do is use this button, pop it in there like that, and there you go. And now I can start popping other buttons in so that I can then start using even smaller circles to create the hub. So I'm just finishing marking off.
And now cutting out the shapes on the hub.
Glue this baby.
Okay, so now we're going to put the bolts around the edges. And now it's the same process for the back hubs, using these lovely little buttons that I found. And cutting out the shapes and gluing in the axle in the middle using buttons and even punched out thick card. Finally, it's more bolts.
I have finished gluing all these
wheel rims together. So all I need to do now is glue the hubs into the rims. And now
I am going to use this roll of plastizote for the tyres that go around the hub. It's very light and very versatile. The width of this rubber is going to be 2 centimeters.
And it fits inside my wheel arch. Yay!
Cool.
A bit of clipping for one edge and a bit of snipping for the other edge.
I'm going to use some double-sided tape, even if it's a bit difficult to cut.
Yeah, anyway, wrap it around the rim, pull off the guard tape.
I'm really going to stretch it around.
Put a little bit of double-sided on the edge. Then pull the plastizote over and a little bit of masking tape to hold it together. There we go! 2 wheels. Now it's time to make some side mirrors. I've got some card which I've cut in half, and I've cut some wire as well.
It will sit on the side of Meta like this.
So, need some Sculpey.
And then push it down like that. Then I need to trim. And cool.
So, chamfer down all 4 sides.
That other side. About like that. Wrap 1/2 centimetre of white printing paper. So if you've got a letter that you don't need anymore, instead of chucking it in the bin, why don't you save it and do a bit of crafting with it instead, like what I'm doing here, or trying to do. Right, come on. I think I might be on a winning streak now. Come on. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to put on this side some aluminium foil. There we go. Put this bit on here. I should trim the foil on the sides off. find the right spot. I've done these, that will sit on the back, and we'll then have a piece of card like that. Glue it on there to there.
So just before I do the final paint job, here's a few bits and pieces that need to be done.
Now we have the chance to make this the most glorious race of your life. Let's go!
I'm painting some red stoplights for the back of Mater and gluing in the dimpled plastic from those mince pie containers. I made some little stands for these lights out of little blobs of polymer and painting it with the chocolate brown that I'm using all over Mater as an undercoat colour, and now gluing them in the back. I also did some side reflectors using the same process, and I glued in Mater's front lens as well for his headlight. The PVA will dry nice and clear. I also decided to do a little rim at the last minute around that lens. So I got another button and a strip of thin paper, which I've glued together, wound it around the button, and once I'd done that, popped it off and painted it lovely silver and then placed it on the headlight. I also sculpted out a couple of weeny retro door handles from Sculpey, and I used a couple of dots of punched out card just to define the door handles and glued them on either side. Of course, I'd already done the hook, but now it was time to get a little bit of wire, and using my pliers, twist it around the string, which looks like rope at the scale that Mater's been built, and snip off the string, seal it at the end, and there you go, a lovely dangling hook. And the side mirrors as well needed to be glued on, so I used a couple of erasers that I got for Christmas actually, very handy, out of a Christmas cracker. Don't forget though to rough up the edges where the glue will go so that the glue can adhere nicely to the side. There you go. And finally, it was time to paint on the yellow chevron safety stripes. Because after all, we don't want anyone to bump into Mater, do we? Yeah, Mater, I'm not sure it's going to be Ramon that's going to paint you up. In fact, I already know it's going to be me. Here we go. So let's start with a nice chocolatey brown colour as a base coat. Over the top of this chocolatey colour, I've started to use a wash.
We're using burnt umber. And if I use some tissue paper, so just dabble around on there, and it just starts to make it look rusty coloured.
Thank you very much for watching. And also a very special thank you to all the buttons I've used on this particular project. Without that little tub of buttons, I don't know where I would have been. For a materials list, please look at the contents below. And if you like this video, please click like and even subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. And now it's time for the turnaround. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Murph's Models.